I got to visit one of the best and most beloved video game stores in the entire country. Hey guys, I'm RNG Gamer. I play all my games randomly, and RetroWolf88 dragged me to a part of the country I wasn't expecting to even go to visit a game store that has hundreds of thousands of fans and followers on social media. This store is a destination that people go out of their way to visit, and I was lucky enough to get to buy some video games there. So we're here on the surface of the sun, obviously from the brightness, but actually we're at Secret Castle Games in... What state are we in?
Kentucky.
We're in Kentucky.
Owensboro, Kentucky.
We're in Owensboro, Kentucky. RetroWolf is doing a store tour in the background. We don't want to infringe upon his ability to interview this store owner. But we did find a couple of things we don't have. I've been on like not really a 007 kick, but I can't find 007 Bloodstone, and they don't have it here. But you know what? I don't have really any of the other 007 games. So we have Everything is Nothing and Nightfire. So I'm a pretty big nerd, but I'm not a huge traditional nerd. I like Star Wars, I like Star Trek, I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not a huge enthusiast of them. I've never really seen any Marvel movies, but one thing I do geek out over is freaking James Bond. I love James Bond, and I picked up these two games, which are Everything or Nothing, not Everything is Nothing, which is a really funny thing to say, and Nightfire on the Xbox. What I didn't know is that these games are like standalone James Bond stories starring Pierce Brosnan and like Judi Dench is M, and who else is in this, dude? Willem Dafoe, Shannon Elizabeth, John Cleese is Q. What the crap, dude? I had no idea. The only 007 game I've ever played is GoldenEye. So I'm thrilled to try these out. I said I don't know anything about them. I don't think they're supposed to be very good. But even if they're just a little good, just a little, I'll be satisfied. We didn't pay much for them, like 15 bucks for the pair. I just discovered something new. I can't show it to you on camera. You've probably heard of this game before. BMX XXX. You probably know what this game is all about, right? Bicycles and boobs. But did you know that this game has a reversible cover? Let me tell you, if they had had it facing outwards, it would have sold more copies. Because I can't show it on camera. But go look at the reversible cover of BMX XXX on Xbox. Just trust me, I couldn't believe it because they have it sitting out on the shelf like that here. The Xbox, the original Xbox, had a whole bunch of games on it where they just put like half-naked women on the cover just to try to sell the games. And we've been going for a complete outlaw sports set. So we found two more here that we don't have. Outlaw Tennis and Outlaw Golf 2. These weren't even $15. They were like $12 for the pair. Now, one of these things is not like the other. I mean, the criminal's getting their mugshot. She's got a whale tail thing going on, and he's got a Orange County Choppers sort of thing going on. And then this, what is this? What is this? What happened to the hot girls half naked on the cover of the game theme? I'm disappointed. I'm real disappointed in this. When they had a chance to ramp it up from Outlaw Golf 1 to Outlaw Golf 2, they dropped the ball, figuratively and metaphorically. And maybe even literally too. I don't even know, dude. I haven't played any of these games, but I want to grab them all They're super cheap and they're hilarious, and I want to do a video on these freaking games. I don't know what the deal is with the sexy sports, but I gotta tell you, I'm in love with the idea. Are these outlaw sports games any good? I see them everywhere. They're really common, but like no one ever talks about them. They have to have been bought by people, because if they hadn't been, I wouldn't see them all over the place. There was a market for this. There's obviously still a market for it, because I'm buying them. We have Evergrace here on the PS2. We always say, if you see Age Tech, you know, the publisher's a Kuon, you should grab it. 20 bucks. So Evergrace is published by Age Tech, as I mentioned, but it's developed by FromSoft. FromSoft, from Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and Eternal Ring fame. I don't know if this game's any good, but I think it was a launch game, or really close to the launch of the PS2. Like the year 2000, right? Let me check. 2000, man, FromSoft. And the only spot it says FromSoft at all is like right there. Look at that. FromSoft. These days, it's like plastered right on the front, man. FromSoft games are an attraction, not a deterrent like they used to be. But what I don't know is if it's very hard. I'm trying to remember if I played any FromSoft games that were easy. I think every FromSoft game I've ever played was pretty challenging. Let me know down in the comments if there are any easy FromSoft games. I'd be interested to try one of those out sometime. Here's one I grabbed because you guys said I need to play all the Onimusha games. Here's Onimusha 3. You guys have been telling me to pick up the Onimusha games, that they're basically like samurai or ninja friggin' Resident Evil. Dude, that sounds awesome as crap. I have the first one on the PS4. I did that on a pickups video. I already had Onimusha 2 somehow. I don't know. I picked it up at a yard sale or something. The Onimusha 3. I think this is the last one, right? There's only the 3 of them. And I didn't know this starred Jean Reno. I loved him in Leon the Professional. He was fantastic in that. But the movie that I loved him the most in was this Robert De Niro action movie called Ronin, which is one of my favorite action movies of all time, and nobody ever mentions it, but it's got one of the best car chases I've ever seen. Fantastic movie. He's a fantastic actor, and I have no idea how he fits into this, but I'm pumped to try it. I know he's French, but he seems to always play like an Italian, and that's okay. But I've heard nothing but good things about Onimusha, and I'm thrilled to try him. Another 007 game. This one's got Sean Connery in it. I find that to be really weird. What the crap? I guess somewhere down deep inside of my brain, I knew that there was a James Bond movie starring, or not a movie, a video game, dummy, starring Sean Connery as James Bond from Russia with Love. That's a real James Bond movie, and a fairly decent one too. Like middle of the pack for Sean Connery. But this is really cool, man. It says it stars Sean Connery. I don't know if they like ripped the dialogue from the movie. I imagine they did. It says Bernard Lee is M. I'm pretty sure he was still around then. Bernard Lee kicked around a long time, like for 50 years or something of Bond movies. Sean Connery was a much better Bond than Pierce Brosnan, although Pierce Brosnan was a great Bond. He was just in a handful of mostly bad Bond movies. They weren't bad, I shouldn't say that. Just not my favorites, how about that? But Sean Connery in a PS2 game? I'm pumped. In every one of my hardest games videos, you guys think, you think that's hard? You should play freaking Shinobi. Well, we're gonna get it. Well, you guys may not be aware, but all of my most popular videos are about where I talk about hard games. Who would have thought? And the game that gets brought up probably more than any other about how flipping impossible it is this one. Isn't this the one where like 80% of people can't get through the first fight of the game? Is that this one? I can't remember if it's this one or if that's one of the Ninja Gaiden, modern Ninja Gaiden games. Who knows? I'm sure this is just like impossible. Just straight up like an impossible game. It's 20 bucks. I remember being able to find this for like $7 at GameStop. Now they have lots of games that are $9, but they definitely used to have them at $7. All their games are in like increments. It's like $4 games, $6 games, $9 games, $13 games, $16 games, like on up in weird increments so you can never pair them up right in their buy two, get one free deals. Shinobi's supposed to be really good. I'm just sure it's gonna just wipe the floor with me. I have no doubt about it. And then I think the only Suikoden game I'm missing, Suikoden Tactics. I passed up on Suikoden Tactics at a flea market for $10. I specifically remember seeing it. I know where it was sitting on the table. I remember where the table was at the flea market. And I was like, I see that game all the time. Nope. Never saw it since then till I picked this up again at a reasonable price. I'd seen it at conventions for like $60 and $70, but it looks like it's come down in value a little bit. I love the first two Suikoden games on the PlayStation 1, and I played Suikoden 3 on the PlayStation 2, and it was fine. It was okay. I know Suikoden 4 is supposed to be the worst one. That's up next when I play it. Not looking forward to that, but Suikoden 5 is supposed to be incredible. And this spin-off tactical RPG is supposed to be good as well. So we'll throw this in there with it, and we'll play it eventually. But I do love the Suikoden series. I think, like I said, this is the last one I needed, excluding the handheld ones. And I don't know if I'm going for those. I do collect for handheld, but it's not a super priority.
So yeah, Xbox.
And then Nightmare of Druaga. Now, Nightmare of Druaga, and it's subtitled here, Fushigino Dungeon, and they didn't capitalize dungeon. What the hell? Literally every other word is all in caps except for this one, and then they don't capitalize this one. Why? Why would you do that? Doesn't make any flipping sense. On the side, it's all capitalized, but on the cover, nope. Just that one D, man. That D's got to be lowercase. Anyway, this is a kind of well-known arcade game, or at least the original one that this is based off of. Is. Okay. But it's brutally difficult. Anyway, they took that series, which may be based off of anime or a manga. I don't know, dude. Probably not. Whatever the case. They turned it into a freaking third-person RPG roguelite? This is a roguelite, or a roguelike, from the PlayStation 2 era, as I recall. Which is bizarre. They weren't really a thing back then. I mean, they've always been a thing, but they weren't in the mainstream. The mainstream. Speaking of MAME, try out the freaking arcade game. We'll read what it says at the very bottom. Like, not at here, but like down here, you know, at the most important spot, like 80% of the way towards the bottom. A dream collaboration between the popular Mysterious Dungeon, that's the roguelite part of roguelike series, and the arcade classic, The Tower of Druaga. I was right. I remembered correctly. I'm proud of myself. Give me a round of applause. There's a lot of freaking knowledge floating around in here, and it gets all like fragmented. I need to defrag my freaking brain because there's just memories chopped up and scattered randomly around. Makes it hard sometimes to keep a good train of thought a lot of the time. Anyway, I know this is supposed to be like extremely unfair and brutal, but I don't know if that's just because people didn't know how roguelikes and roguelites worked back then, or if it just is like the arcade game and it's just unfair. Let me know. Have you played this? I showed this to Retro Wolf 88 and he's like, he'd never heard of it, and he's a big collector. So this is an uncommon game, and $16, it's a pretty good deal. We found one more James Bond game. Agent Under Fire. I know this is supposed to be bad. The movie was bad that it's based off of. Wait, there wasn't a movie based off this. I'm a big James Bond fan. I should know that. Did you know that? And right as I was going to check out, of course, I saw this just sitting like on the edge of a counter. It's 007 Agent Under Fire. This is another Pierce Brosnan original adventure, I guess. I don't know. Whatever the case is, $5. $5. I've had this game probably 6 or 7 times that I've picked up in various lots when I was out yard selling and stuff, and I always just traded it away because I wasn't really interested in playing any licensed games. I'm not a huge licensed game fan, but I decided to give James Bond a shot. Maybe it'll turn me into a licensed game fan. Probably not. I kind of hope it doesn't because there's a lot of bad licensed games, but maybe this one's okay. We'll find out. Anyway, I added all this stuff up.
That mic from you, please, sir.
$150 about. Let's see what they do on it. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
We're here with the owner. You want to introduce yourself?
I am Jason with Cedar Castle Toys and Games. I feel like a negotiation's about to happen.
There's a negotiation about to happen. So I sort of added all this stuff up.
Yeah.
There's about $145, $150 worth of stuff here. So what are you thinking on this? What's your margin on this? They have a great store, by the way. This is one of the best stores I've been in like years. Just unbelievable. So I hear they have good prices. These prices are already good, but let's see if we can make them better. We're back. He's done some tabulating. What did we come up with?
Big Hoss, you're at $142.89.
I even oversold it to him. I said 145. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm thinking $142.89.
You can't do $142.89, man, because you got to cut me a better deal on this, so I feel better about myself. What about 120 cash?
No. If it helps you out, I can do $135 cash, and I'll pay the tax for you.
We can do that.
All right.
That'll work,
deal.
man. We got a deal. So as you just saw, my negotiating skills did not work. Not at that place. No way in hell did they work there. Now, if I'm out at a yard sale or I'm trading with another person, I don't give them a hard time. If it's someone that's a reseller or has a place of business, they're supposed to know the price of their stuff. They're supposed to know better. They're supposed to know how to negotiate. So I'll push them pretty hard sometimes. Sometimes you can bully them into a cheaper price. Sometimes you can reason with them. Sometimes they're fair, sometimes they're not. This store had fair prices, good prices, lower than what I would find locally. He gave me probably about a 10% discount. Now, I don't know what the tax rate was down in that neck of the woods or up in that neck of the woods compared to me, but it was probably about, we'll say 10% off the total purchase price. That's fair for a place of business. They have overhead, they have to pay taxes, they have to freaking pay their employees, they have to keep the air conditioning on. They have to keep the air conditioning on because it was hot as hell. You saw the opening of this freaking video. So I was happy with that. If that was at the convention I was on my way to, that had it at 145, I'd expect to pay 115, maybe 120 if they were exceptionally nice. Now you'll see next week in the conclusion of this video where I actually get to the convention that the offer I throw out most of the time, they just accept it first thing. This is a fantastic store. I loved it. Really cool selection. There had a lot of high ticket items I really kind of wanted to get, but I promised myself I was going to save my money for the convention and try to get the things I was really wanting from my wish list, which actually ends up happening. So come back next week to see that video. If you made it this far, guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. That's what I wanted to feel like you're there with me. Subscribe, like, comment, do all those things. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. But if you want to do a little bit more, you can go to the description down below and become a channel member or a Patreon supporter. For as little as 99 cents a month, you get access to the videos early, you get access to member exclusive videos. There's all kinds of things you can do. There's also an Amazon affiliate link down below. If you use that to buy something off Amazon, RNG Gamer, yours truly, gets a little bit of money back. Like I said, I haven't made any profit off these videos. I spend more than I make, and that doesn't count the games. These games came out of my own pocket. This isn't YouTube money. YouTube money pays for things like the camera I'm looking at. You've just seen all the Patreon supporters and channel members on the screen. You've seen their messages. Thank you so much, guys. You mean the world to me. I really mean that. And I'll catch you guys next week.